Alright, so here's my latest find. It's a 1968 Johnson 20 horse short shaft tiller. Picked it up. The rest of this stuff came with it. Everything for 40 bucks. I even offered the guy 30 bucks, but I almost felt guilty and gave him 40. What can you say? Alright, so here's everything else that came with the motor. I got the tank, the fuel line, cleaned it all out, put it on Craigslist, 65 bucks or best offer. The repair manual, brand spanking new manual, I'll put that up there on Craigslist too. Doesn't even have a greasy fingerprint on it. There's the carb, 20 horse carb, like new, starter motor, full starter, some muffs that don't fit on these motors. Anyway, all this came with the outboard, 40 bucks for everything. Alright, 68 20 horse Johnson. Here's the actual ad that was on Craigslist, 40 bucks, posted like 13 hours ago, 15 hours ago, it says there. Got lucky, snagged it up for anybody else. So anyway, he was advertising this thing as a 1977 25 horse, and I knew right off the bat it wasn't a 77 25. Anyway, he was going by the sticker here, and obviously somebody has replaced the transom mount, and also the handle was replaced. And too bad it's not a 77 25. Anyway, right off the bat, buying a used outboard. He was advertising this as a parts motor, which was fine, but you can see all the deposits, the oil deposits here. That's the first thing you want to check, because you know right off the bat the upper crankshaft seal is no good and it's blowing oil everywhere. Now everything was removed from it. He said he had tried to get the thing started, couldn't get it to start. And I had noticed there was a little bit of water in here, and he was like, well, that's strange, it's been in my shed. And I said, well, your shed must be leaking, and that's why the power head is frozen up. So we picked it up together, poured just a little bit of water came out here, and I threw it in the van and took it home. And a couple days later, I pulled the plugs out, and both cylinders were full of water. So I had it sitting down last night, laying down, soaking overnight, see if it would loosen up any. And I'm not real concerned about it because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. But he also told me that everything under the flywheel, coils, points, condensers is brand new. Now I think what probably happened was he tried to get this thing up and running. He even had the spark plug wires crossed, and somehow dropped this thing in the lake. So no telling, you know, how bad the power head is. The water that came out was not rusty, because the inside of the motor is so greasy and oily. So hopefully there's no real rust. You can see here the crankshaft is not stuck, it's just the pistons are stuck, and they're both real low in the cylinders, so they're stuck at the bottom, which is good, and shouldn't have a problem getting them unstuck. And I haven't checked the oil in the gear case yet, but seems to be shifting. and prop's a little bent up there. Probably straighten that out. So like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna build this thing or I mean, he's got all the bolts taken out underneath here, like he was getting ready to pull the power head off, but he missed that last bolt that's right up in the back center there, front center. A little hard to get to. So I don't know if I'm going to build it or keep it for parts for my 62. Just don't know yet. Well, it looks like I was wrong about the crankshaft. What was going on was the flywheel wasn't bolted down. He had taken that off also, so it was just the flywheel was moving. And all I had to do was unscrew the bolt or the nut and pull the flywheel off, and he was right. Everything looks pretty brand new. You can see here where he didn't have these lined up good, rubbing on the flywheel, and but everything looks pretty good. Those points on that side look like they might have a little bit of crud on them, but I've got other plans for this stuff right here, which I will be revealing in a upcoming video, and then you'll know the rest of the story. Well, he wasn't lying about the coils and the points and everything. Everything is new. And like I said, I've got plans for these. And I'm going to tear this motor somewhat apart just to see what's going on in there. But right now, this stuff I've got plans for. Yeah, baby. Anyway, got real lucky here. All the head bolts just popped right out. Nothing frozen up. Get a little hammer. Well, the gasket looks like fairly new, and there's a little bit of rust in there, but nothing too bad. So this thing must have been laying on its side, you can see, or maybe it was laying that way. You can see the rust on the top. Anyway, let's get this gasket off without screwing it up. So it looks like, you know, the guy tried to do a job here, but couldn't get her done. Yeah, baby. What the hell was that? That's a good sign. Bearings are going to be the biggest problem. Anyway, both these pistons are real low, so that's a good thing as far as the cylinder walls. I'm going to try and tap this baby out. Alright, so what I've done was just been soaking this baby in some good old PB 50 multi-purpose lube. And I've done this before in the past. Take a wooden block, tap these babies. They are moving. I mean, worst comes to worst. Hone these cylinders out. And get all your wood chips out. Ah, these pieces of shit. Piece of shit flashlight. Well, yeah, I can see a little bit of rust. Rusty, shitty looking, goopy. I don't know if you can see that back in there or not. Probably not. Anyway, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like it can be rinsed out. Okay, so I managed to get it loosened up pretty good. Still felt a little bit stiff in some spots. And I just kept throwing stuff at it. I had some 50-to-1 gas and oil mix. I poured some of that in there and just kept rinsing it out. I also threw some gear oil on top of that and just kept cranking it and rinsing it and cranking it and rinsing it. And slowly but surely it was getting looser and looser and spinning pretty nice. So after I got it spinning up pretty good, I pulled the power head off and started to completely disassemble it, which will be continued in another video. Thanks so much for checking this motor out. It's a 1968 Johnson 20 horse. Check out some of my other videos. Stay tuned for the update on this thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Hey, it's This Old Outboard. You know the channel.